My name is Christy Jack, and I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. I was born in Frankfurt, Germany. My father was in the military and was a Green Beret, so I was born on a military base. I went to school at Baylor University for my undergraduate degree, and then I went to Texas Tech where I got my law degree. I think I've always been interested in law, so when people ask me what got me interested, I can't remember a time that I wasn't interested. I think the bigger question for me is, what made me become interested in criminal law? And I've always been fascinated by solving crimes. My uncle, my mother's brother, was a homicide detective with the Arlington Police Department. And so I loved hearing about his cases and how he put the pieces together. Before I joined the law firm, I was a prosecutor for almost 24 years, and I rose through the rank at the Tarrant County District Attorney's Office and prosecuted everything from some minor Class C ticket when I was a baby lawyer all the way up to death penalty cases, and I was one of 5 supervisors over the entire District Attorney's Office at the end of my career there. I met Anna and Benson at the Tarrant County District Attorney's Office. They were actually in the misdemeanor section, and they were probably the brightest and the most talented in the misdemeanor section, and I was a senior supervisor at the District Attorney's Office. When someone asks me what my proudest accomplishment is in my career, I have to break it up. I have to say, what's my proudest accomplishment as a prosecutor? And I had a lot of cases that were very special to me. I think one of the cases that I'm most proud of was a case that I was very nervous I could not win. And when I tried cases as a prosecutor, there were 2 attorneys always that tried cases. And the individual that I was trying was a particularly dangerous individual. He'd been a member of a gang back in the 90s, and he was responsible for the deaths of either 2 or 3 individuals. He was so violent, and we extradited him from California that I didn't want anyone else to be the subject of his retaliation if we lost the case. So I tried the case by myself. And because the evidence, I was nervous how a jury would receive it. And I made him an offer of something like 6 years before we tried the case. And his lawyer laughed and turned it down. And he was convicted. And the judge gave him a life sentence. And so it was a particularly difficult case. He was an especially violent individual. So it's one of my proudest accomplishments as a prosecutor. As a defense attorney, on the other hand, I've specialized in homicide cases and sexual assaults. And I think one of the cases that I'm proudest of is a young man that was charged with a violent rape of a young woman. And while the case was pending, his life literally stopped. His life was on hold. He couldn't go to college. He couldn't develop a career. Everything came to a standstill. And it was also during COVID. And so he was on a GPS monitor for 3 years while we waited for our day in court. And the district attorney's office had a very different view of the case than we did. They wanted to send him to prison. And we were very steadfast and always insisted that our client was innocent. And at the end of the trial, it was a very hard-fought trial. And we also found another young man that the complainant had also falsely accused, who was willing to come and testify. And at the end of the trial, the jury agreed with us, and within about an hour, they found our client not guilty. It's difficult to say what I see for Varghese Summersett. I really think the sky's the limit, and I know that's a cliche, but Benson has always been a visionary, and he saw things and how to practice law and how to develop a firm that I think, at least in the criminal sphere in Tarrant County, had never been done before. So it's really hard for me to say there's any kind of limit on what Varghese Summersett can and will be in the future.